when I'm not getting into arguments with a 12-year-old over some nonsense.
Hey Sean, you wanna ask me who the best drummer in the world is? I don't mind.
Yeah, okay. Who's the best drummer in the world, Jack?
Virgil and
I think you mispronounced Danny Carey. It's Danny Carey.
Okay, we can talk about Danny Carey if we talk about the worst drummer in the world.
You're a jerk.
I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Great stuff, Sean. Very Hendrixy to my ears. Can you do a video about writing interesting chord progressions? All right, so I'm here with my Gibson SG to talk about 3 tips to help you write better chord progressions. Tip number 1, crime. Just steal them from other artists. Now, I'm half joking about this. I think the real tip is actually just to learn a new song, right? And then the more songs that you learn, the more patterns that you'll see. Kind of studying great songwriters is a great way to just kind of get your mind around maybe just different options that you might not have thought available. So one thing that I learned just from studying one of my favorite artists of all time, Elliott Smith, was that you can move major chords in minor thirds. I did almost like a whole video about that. I'll link that if you're an Elliott Smith fan, you haven't seen that. But I thought that was actually a cool thing that I'd never heard anybody else say. That was 100% me just kind of like messing around with some of my favorite songs that taught me how to play guitar. And I'm like, okay, well, if I have a major chord, a D major, the key of D, the people's key of 2020, a minor third above that is an F major. So having D major, be like, all right, I'm going to have a bunch of chords in the key of D major. So maybe I'll start jamming on like a D major 7 to B minor to A. Okay, getting that F in there. The F shouldn't be in the key. So the root chord, whatever you're in, if you're in the key of C, add E flat major to the group of chords that you have selected, right? So again, that's just kind of like a tip of something that I think sounds interesting. You might hate it, but basically find out what players that you like and chord progressions that what you like, because what's interesting to one person is going to be totally not interesting to another person. I'm a huge Radiohead fan. Some people would be like, oh, those chord progressions are sad, whatever. Well, you have terrible taste. That's not really my fault, but studying Radiohead might not be what gets you into kind of like learning. So again, I'm a huge fan of learning any instrument through songs, and what better way to do it that's going to keep you interested than by really studying some of the artists that you really enjoy. So, tip number 1 was crime. Tip number 2 is really familiarize yourself with the circle of fifths, okay? So, all that really means, just kind of like the abbreviated version, I've got a video on this too, I'll link you to, is in every scale, right, in any key, people's key of D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th note of that, D, G, E, F sharp, A, D major and A major, those keys, if you look at the chords that populate those keys, then you'll find there's a lot of similarities, but there are also a few differences. So instead of just pulling chords from the key of D major when you're maybe working on a chord progression, why don't you just take all the extra chords that its 5th, the key of its 5th provides, because you're not going so far outside of the key, but you are opening like a lot of different options. Like for instance, in the key of D, E's chord, the 2 chord, is E minor, right? Well, in the key of A, E is E major. So one thing that you can do is you can kind of play around between E minor and E major in the key of D. So maybe we're doing that same thing again, like D, there's that 1 chord to the 6 chord, to the 4 chord, the 5 chord. And have that, what we're thinking of now is like a major 2 chord. Again, E should be minor in the key of D, we're just making it major. That's just one example, there's a couple different things that you can use, but the circle of fifths is a great tool, and it also is kind of like a proving ground for your budding music theory knowledge. If you don't know what the circle of fifths is, then you're not living, my friend. So basically those are the top 2 ways that you can maybe make your chord progressions more interesting. The third one, I knew I had a third one. What was the third one? The third one, retune your guitar to an open tuning, okay? This is something I just did. I'm working on a couple acoustic reinterpretations of the Emeryld Ryders, my amazing Celtic band, the album you've probably already heard of, so it is linked, but you don't even have to click the link because it's already saved in your Spotify or you bought it. I'm doing some acoustic reimaginations of one of the songs in particular. I don't remember the chord progression I made for the song Rooted, or what tuning I was even in. Couldn't even name you the chords. I can track the root notes in the chords. I have no idea how I made them, because they were in an alternate tuning at the time. So I settled upon a different alternate tuning where I just tuned like the highest 2 strings down. Whatever, just get creative. Any Joni Mitchell song does this, right? Tons of great artists just kind of retune their guitar. It makes you lose all the shapes that you do. And again, maybe, like I said, interesting is relative. So what you find interesting, some people might find non-interesting. This channel, for example, right? But once you start retuning your guitar, you get out of the habits and the shapes that you might be using as a crutch, and you just kind of will come up with some stuff. Don't even worry about the names of the chords or what they are, but I guarantee you it will sound more interesting. Those are my top 3 tips. Any chance you'll make another coupon for the Fingerstyle class? I'm definitely interested. Okay, so last week we were talking about the Fingerstyle class I made with my buddy Kyle, who is a instructor of classical music at university. We did a whole class that didn't sell well, so I made it $15 for a limited time. The coupon site only lets me do it for 5 days, but they let me do a couple coupons in a month. So I'll extend it another 5 days. The funny thing is, it sounds like I'm doing this thing where like, oh, limited time only, this is the last chance to get it. I swear, hand to God, it only lets me do a couple of these. So, yeah, it sounds kind of like a sales pitch, and I guess it is a sales pitch, but I can use another one of these coupons, so for the next 5 days that's going on, it's $15. It's like a fraction of the cost of a personal one-on-one guitar lesson with an actual guy who is a master at fingerstyle guitar. The funny thing was, I thought about just maybe doing that class myself because people ask me about fingerstyle stuff, but I'm self-taught, so I didn't really feel comfortable not that I was going to give like solid advice to people as far as like my technique. So that's why it was awesome having Kyle there to kind of reinforce that I actually wasn't doing it so badly all along. So check that out if you're interested, and also the one with Justin is still on sale, so check those out. Avoid this video, total waste of time. Speaking of a salty and total waste of time, how about telling people to avoid a video in the comments section of the video? They've already clicked it. What could you possibly be telling them to avoid at this point? The damage has been done, and I have won. Definitely D in 2020. B flat sounds more like a 2021 chord. So last week, I left it up to the people if the official key of 2020 should be D or B flat. And just as sad as that B flat sounds after a D, that is kind of the fate of B flat in 2020. So D1, again, don't blame me, blame the people. The people voted for it, D it is. However, as a good sport, I do think I will throw occasionally the B flat people a bone and just do a lesson in B flat, and also occasionally revisiting the official key, the people's key, the key of G. But the people have spoken, has been decided, the key of D major is the key of 2020. Show me on the guitar where John Mayer hurt you, Sean. So this is in response to the video I posted the other day called When You're Forced to Play a John Mayer Song, where I did Gracie a solid and finally played a John Mayer song with her. Also, at the beginning of the video, I reiterated that I really like John Mayer. I just don't really like John Mayer. And lo and behold, guess what happened in the YouTube guitar community? Oh, how come you don't like John Mayer? What's with all the hate on John Mayer? What is the appropriate amount that I'm supposed to like John Mayer? Somebody please tell me, as a guitar player. Mad respect for the dude. Love Continuum. Love Born and Raised. That's really the only thing that I listen. I've listened to everything. I'm a John Mayer fan. But apparently, I will never be John Mayer fan enough to please the rabid John Mayer fans. So again, once again, I'm turning to the internet. In the comments, let me know the appropriate amount of liking I have to have for John Mayer as a member of the guitar community, and I will try to satisfy that where everybody's happy. So for listening homework this week, I'm going to throw you to an awesome, chill synth track. Really cool, just cool vibes all the way around by an artist named Vagabond. The name of the track is Water Me Down. Very cool. Getting into synths is something that I'm also getting into. I've finally learned how to use my Prophet that I've had for like a year, just in time for NAMM to go brag to the people at Sequential that I know how to use their Prophet. So some synth stuff is coming up very soon. Also, I will be heading to NAMM next week. So if anybody has any ideas of maybe what they want me to check out, ask people, talk to, let me know, and I will try to satisfy as many needs as I can with this one video. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website. Take the masterclass. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks a lot.